Kenny, do you know what time it is?
I don't know what time it is, Kyle. What time is it?
Ah, well, let me tell you. The answer to that question was it's time for King's Chaos. Run the intro. Hello all, and welcome to another episode of King's Chaos. I am your host, Kyle Bubbatone, aka the Kyng-Pin parentheses of Spades, and once again I have a returning guest. Kenny Horn, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy to be here.
This is the last episode of King's Chaos for the semester. I mean, I'm probably gonna keep doing it on my own, but radio-wise, we're on a hiatus.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with my show.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I should keep it going over the summer.
I think it'd be cool to do that. The only thing, your show is very heavy on music, so I don't know where you would put, where you could put that won't get you copyright struck.
I got hit with copyright the first time ever the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I finally got hit. It was
Where'd you put it?
I've been doing it on Anchor.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess they just finally caught it.
Oh. Just like all of it, or just one episode?
Just one episode, but
Interesting.
I'm not feeling too good.
Yeah,
It's beginning of the end.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I am so wary of copyright. I played years ago when I was doing gaming on my YouTube channel. I played a Lego Star Wars game, and it would have the music from Star Wars. I didn't put it in; it came with the game.
Yeah.
And they copyright struck me for that. And I'm like, okay, let's step back from this for a while.
Yeah, just copyright strike a little kid's Lego Star Wars game. Yeah.
Exactly. I try to avoid copyright at all costs, and I have no idea how some people, air quotes, get away with it. Because you see all this stuff on YouTube, it's like, oh, here's the song from these people that I put iMovie lyrics over. How do you get away with that?
Well, a lot of times it has to do with fair use. I don't know how much you know about that.
I know it's a thing. I don't know the ins and outs of it too much.
Well, with music, it works pretty well. You can use maybe 8 seconds of a song. Except fair use, it works if you're using it in a transformative way, where basically you're not just using it just to have it there.
Right.
If you're using it and it makes sense to use it, you can use maybe 8 seconds of it.
Okay. Definitely something to know for the future. I don't know how far I'm going to go with that, but, I'll just stick to making my own music right now.
That's always the safest bet.
Yeah. Especially for, the radio stuff, all the, little music bits that introduce the stuff. Not counting the songs we play for music breaks on the radio, but all the other ones I threw together in 30 minutes in iMovie. And I'm pretty sure they all hit the same notes, just on different instruments. I don't know too much about music, if you couldn't tell.
Well, you just released the song.
That's true, but it is the same 3 notes over and over. Which
sometimes that's okay.
Yeah, no, I actually think it turned out well, the song, for, the limited knowledge and time I had to do it. Fortunately, we're not talking about music today because, like I said, I'm not the most well-versed in it, pun intended. But today, we're going to be talking about game shows. This is an idea I had for a while, and I, finally got a chance to put it into volition because I don't know about you, Kenny, but I grew up on a whole bunch of game shows. We're talking Wipeout, Jeopardy. Very recently, I've been catching up on little YouTube clips of Whose Line Is It Anyway? Not Wipeout, Wheel of Fortune. I can keep going on and on, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always wanted a chance to talk about it and speculate how I would do on them, because all game shows are not the same. They all require different skills and stuff, and I might feel like I could do better at some and not the others. But before we begin, what's your favorite game show? What's the one you grew up with, the one you've watched the most?
Survivor.
Ooh, I forgot about that one.
I love Survivor. I haven't seen it in a while, but that was the one that my whole family we watched it together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was great.
So, like, what was the main thing about that? Like, because I haven't heard about it even in a while. So, what was the main premise of that one again?
Okay, so Survivor they take the number exactly. It
Okay.
changes every season, but they take roughly 20 people or so,
Oh wow.
and they throw them on a deserted island in the middle of nowhere, and they have to survive for about 40 days. And over the course of the 40 days, they vote each other off the island to see who can stay in the game, who can
Right.
not stay in the game. They have to survive off the land, all of that kind of stuff. And as the game progresses, there's fewer and fewer people, and whoever's the last one remaining wins $1 million.
Nice. I'm sh- I'm sure the camera crew doesn't have to survive off the island, right? They probably have food in the back.
They get all fancy stuff.
Yeah, I could imagine that's an interesting one because that's less of a game. Well, I mean, it's still a game in a sense, but it has a lot more fight for your life elements
Which is what
to it.
makes it interesting, except
Yeah.
that's how it was originally based, like the first season of the show. It was
Okay.
more of just a like survival kind of thing. But they added things into it, like you can find an immunity idol. So like you're just walking around the island, you find a little rock or something. It says this is the immunity idol. You can't be voted on the next time, or you can't be voted on whenever you choose to use it.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
stuff like that. You can trade them. You can make fake ones. You can do a whole bunch of stuff.
Wow,
It's
that
really
sounds
just
interesting. Yeah.
as wild as your mind goes.
Yeah, I like that idea of like, okay, we start off with basic survival, but as we go on, we're just gonna keep adding more and more crazy stuff.
Yeah, which is just how it happened. It wasn't even supposed to happen that way.
Yeah, I mean that's I really like that aspect of it. That's really cool. Like different like mystical elements that like can protect you and stuff.
That's what makes it really cool to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm much more like my taste in game shows goes a lot more tame than that. I mean, the one I grew up with the most was Wipeout, which isn't as
Oh, people
uh,
getting hit.
yeah, it's not as deadly as Survivor, but oh boy, I'm sure it's not all sunshine and rainbows either. Well, as a kid, that's how I saw it because it was just all big, colorful, inflatable obstacle courses. It was like a water park. I'm like, I don't care how many times I fall off. I want to try that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, and also I had the Wii game. The Wii game had, I think, two versions of Wipeout. I think, and I had the first one, and that was always fun. So yeah, Wipeout's always been one of my favorite ones. But then I like the more like relaxing ones, Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune. Whose Line, like I said, is probably one of my favorites because it's really not a game show. We'll get into if it can be considered a game show later, but it's ridiculous. The people, oh my gosh, what are their names? Wayne, Ryan, and Colin, I believe, are the three main guys who've been there since I think the beginning. They're hilarious, and then whatever guest they bring on always adds to it. It's so funny.
Yeah, I've seen TikTok clips,
Oh, really?
which yeah, and I never even heard of it. Well, actually, no, it's not true. I would say like, wow, this makes me feel old. But do you remember when you would have like cable boxes and you would go through like what's on the guide? I
Yeah.
remember I'd go through and I'd see whose line is it, and you'd be like, yeah, that sounds bad. I'll just skip that. But
Yeah.
now I see it like on TikTok, I'm like, wow, that is so funny.
Now, do you, like is it clips from the actual show on
Yeah,
TikTok or is it the audio that people are talking over?
put in the actual show.
Oh yeah, because they do have those visual elements that you would need to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a really funny show. I forget when I first heard it. I think I was on a trip for one of my trips for my summer camp, and they took us to like an improv thing, like an improv comedy club. I think it was. It definitely wasn't the Whose Line Is It set. Some kind of improv thing, and somebody had mentioned it there, and that was when I first heard of it. But I never actually like watched it or knew what it was until. Do you know Mad Magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was watching the cartoon they did of that, and one of the skits they had on it was Doctor Whose line is it anyway? It was stupid, like anything else Mad does, but I was into Doctor Who at the time, so then the connection became made, and then I looked it up, and then I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And that's basically the story.
Yeah, I've gotten into a lot of things like that. When I was a little kid, I would, little kids are weird, okay? So they'll spend their entire days doing something. I would spend 8 hours a day as a kid just going through Wikipedia, and I would discover like everything. It was the dumb. I would just click on every single link I found, and the amount of things I learned from that, the things that I found that were new, it's so funny.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't remember much what I've done as a child. The only thing I can remember is a lot of YouTube and not much else.
Yeah, YouTube was definitely in there for me too.
Yeah, except I don't think it has as much educational value as, say, Wikipedia.
Well, that depends on if it's real information.
They were mostly Lego stop motion videos.
No, I meant my Wikipedia.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think about Wikipedia. I think that for the most part is actually pretty accurate, but that's not the point.
Yeah, no,
that's not the point at all.
I don't use it a lot for like a lot of in-depth stuff. I'll use it for like general information. But no, I think it's very cool that you mentioned Survivor and then I mentioned Jeopardy because like I said before, every game show requires a different set of skills and like not like there's mental ones, mentally challenging ones, physically challenging ones, ones where you really just win by circumstance. That's how I wrote it out, at least. And then there's the ones that I don't know if they can be considered a game show, but we'll get to that later. Number one, the mentally taxing game shows, which would be, in my opinion, stuff like Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune.
The classics.
Yeah. The
70-year-old favorites.
And mine too.
And yours.
Yeah, I remember like when I used to go over to my friend's house for dinner. They had a TV in their kitchen, a little small one, and their family would always have Jeopardy on while eating dinner. And every once in a while I might know a question, but most of the time I'm sitting there in silence while they're all yelling out the answers. I'm like, this pizza's good.
Pizza good. Just does not make you feel good.
Yeah. No, not really. I mean, it's good, but at a certain amount. Like 3 slices when it starts to hit you, I would say.
Oh, that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about it doesn't make you feel good if they're just blurring out answers and you're just like, okay, yeah, pizza good.
Oh, yeah, that too. That's not a...
Pizza? No, I can eat all pizza.
Yeah, I mean... It's not a confidence booster, I'll say that.
Yeah.
But when you just throw out an answer, just because why not? You might as well say something, and you actually get it right. That's pretty good.
You guys didn't get that.
Yeah.
You guys were too easy. You guys were too busy eating pizza while I was being smart.
Yes, unintentionally smart is what I would call it.
That's the best kind of smart.
Yeah, that's true. And I think Jeopardy is definitely a lot more of a mentally, requires you to think more than Wheel of Fortune, I think, because Wheel of Fortune, you kind of have that limited section, know what I'm saying? Like, you have the characters and the topic of the phrase.
Letters.
Yeah, exactly. Jeopardy is like, you have a basic topic, but the answer could literally be anything.
Exactly. The worst part about Jeopardy to me was always the answering in the form of the question. I always hated that. That makes me mad. There's no point. And like when you're doing like mock Jeopardy, like in school with things like, okay, let's play Jeopardy. You always have to do that. I always forget and I get it wrong.
I was just going to bring it up. I hate that when you're like playing the class Jeopardy, you answer it correctly and who's ever running it's like, you didn't answer in the form of a question. Tisk, tisk, tisk.
No. WMSC, we did that for one of our events.
I was there, yes. We were on the same, weren't we on the same team? Yeah.
I got it wrong. I was so mad. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate because
it was a 500 question too.
Yeah, that too. Weren't we like so close to winning? We were like 100 points away.
Well, no, this was actually the first question of the game, and because it was the first one, they let it slide, so I was fine, but still, I just hated the whole thing.
Oh yeah, the form of question. It's so weird because that's not how people talk.
Exactly.
This is your favorite color. What is blue?
Exactly.
Wait, I'm very interested into why they did that. I have no idea. I mean, it doesn't, like, the layout of the show doesn't, like, feel like it would be required.
No, it's just a trivia show.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is. I remember I read the reason once. I didn't even care enough to remember it. Because it's just dumb.
Well, no, it's exactly what you would think it is. Well, this is from a Reddit post, so I don't know how true it is, but it was originally a gimmick to separate Jeopardy from other quiz shows, which, yeah, I mean, that's okay. The first answer I would give.
I mean, I guess it worked.
Yeah. I mean, how long did Jeopardy run again?
Too long? No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Wild guess is 40 years?
No, 50, technically 57. The first ever episode, and this is from Insider, the first ever episode of the show premiered in 1964 and was on air until 1975. The all-new Jeopardy ran from 1978 to 1979, but those shows were canceled, and today's version of Jeopardy premiered in 1984. So,
wow, okay, so that is about
49. Give or take a few gap
49.
years. Yeah. I mean...
That's the former math major.
Thank goodness you were here, because I would not have been able to do that in my head. But, yeah, I mean, that's a long time.
It's a very long time. That is... okay, if we weren't doing the 49 years, if we were doing, like, from the beginning, that's older than my parents.
Yeah, it's same
Jeopardy,
here.
The show is older than my parents.
Yeah, I know. I don't like to think about that. That's really weird. It's almost, and for some reason, this is what I'm going to compare it to. It's almost as old as the Rolling Stones.
Whoa.
I don't know why that's the unit of measurement I'm going with, but I knew they formed in the 60s, so...
I've got the worst one. You ready?
Oh, no.
Jeopardy is older than the moon landing.
Oh, no. Wait a minute. Anyway, there are other game shows that require physical skill set as well. And, you know, we've mentioned some of them. Wipeout was one of them. American Ninja Warrior. And one that I've always found funny, and this is another one I grew up with that I just forgot about, was Hole in the Wall. Have you seen that one?
What is that?
It's ridiculous, number one.
Oh, great.
Basically, there's just this long runway, and there's like two teams of three, I believe, a red and a blue team. And they stand on the very edge of this runway, and there's a pool of like cold water right behind them. And this wall comes out from behind a curtain with a cutout of a pose. And the contestants have to try to fit that pose to go through the wall or be dunked in the water.
That is so cool.
It is. It's really funny and ridiculous. And the wall is made out of like very fragile material. So I think if you break off some of the wall by accident, you lose points.
Okay, well that makes sense, because if that wasn't a rule, I'd just like ram into the wall.
Yeah,
the wall every time.
Yeah, and then there's there's single ones and double ones and triple ones where they all have to they start climbing on each other to try and fit through these holes. Like it's like in the shape of like a stoplight or something. Somebody has to crawl on their back and jump through a hole as it's passing.
That is so cool.
It was a really fun show to watch. And that I think that could actually be like in the middle of this Venn diagram because you would have to have the spatial reasoning, but also the reflexes and flexibility to like, calculate it and then fit through the wall.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a hard one. I can't imagine that's an easy one to do. I definitely wouldn't put it up there with American Ninja Warrior. I feel like that one's the top of the top for the physically challenging ones.
Yeah, I those shows I've always wanted to try out just because I'm like, what the hell I would do?
Yeah,
as a regular guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in no physical shape
I mean, I did carry the most chairs back in like second grade, so.
Oh, they might just give you the winnings right now.
Exactly. You gotta watch out for guys like me.
All right, I'm keeping my distance.
That's right. That's why we're doing this virtually.
Yeah. There's other game shows where like it really depends on the audience. Like how you do depends on what the audience gives you. And the number one I'm talking about is, of course, Family Feud. Cause
that's like American Idol.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess I've seen like American Idol and America's Got Talent is more as like talent shows. I can see how they're game shows though. You're right. They're like you depend on the votes of people, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, wait. How Okay, I can see you saying Family Feud because its answers come.
Right, that's what I was trying to get at. The answers come from people they ask. But no, definitely American Idol and America's Got Talent too. And I believe my memory's a little fuzzy, but I think The Masked Singer goes by that as well, where it's, hey, vote for who you want. I mean, a lot of those like talent-based shows have that method or formula. So
yeah. It's called America's Got and stuff like that because America votes.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, I guess that does make sense, doesn't it?
Just thought of that now.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, like I feel like shows like that, well, obviously they require some skill. They're literally talent shows. But in terms of a guaranteed victory, there's only so much you can do for that.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, like, that's a good point.
Like Family Feud, it's the show known for A, the most ridiculous answers ever said by both contestants and people alike, and B, Steve Harvey's reactions. That's the show in a nutshell.
Have you ever seen the old Family Feud clips?
Oh, like before Steve Harvey, right?
Yeah.
I not a lot, but I have seen some.
I used to watch these videos of just game show fails, which is they're the best things to watch. And one of the ones that always sticks out in my mind, I may be getting the exact question wrong, but you'll get the idea when I say it. So the host says, this is the final feud, not final feud, whatever it's called. I almost said final Jeopardy. This is whatever the you know what I mean. There's no point to the pointer. So the host says, name a 3-letter animal. The guy goes, alligator. And then the guy exactly after him from the same family says like a 4-letter one. Neither of them got it. It was amazing. And also in that, like I think of the one guy who goes, name something you wouldn't want to see when you break into a house. He goes, naked grandma. And the other guy standing across from him just shakes his head like, I wouldn't want to see a naked grandma.
Those are like the two classic clips from the show. It's so those crack me up every time.
Yeah, I love them.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
There's one where the guy, there's two guys, and it's like, name something your wife can do better on or something, and neither of them answer. It's in the beginning. They just look at each other, shake their heads, and Steve Harvey just loses it. He's like, you guys made the right choice. It was something like that. Oh, I love it.
Oh my goodness. I mean, like, it's hilarious to see him react, but I think he does like overreact sometimes. And I feel like that's part of it. That's like a lot of hosts, like talk show hosts, game show hosts. They all Like, they all play it up a little too much sometimes, and it
That's kind of what you're
borders
supposed
on...
to do.
True, but sometimes it could border on obnoxious.
Yeah, no, it can.
Yeah.
Definitely can too. Anyway, what were we saying?
Oh, I don't remember. We've taken 16 different routes in this conversation. It's so insane. But I guess we can move on to the final type of game show. That being, in my opinions, the ones that have to be considered to be game shows. Like, I don't know exactly if they would count. Number one, like I mentioned, Whose Line Is It Anyway? Because the tagline of this show is where... Oh, wait. What is the exact tagline? The points don't matter? There's an addendum to that tagline. But the basic thing is the points don't matter. So it's not really a game show. It's more just entertainment. So I call it a game show because I enjoy it. But what do you think?
Is there a winner?
I don't think so.
Then I wouldn't say it's a game show.
Okay, that's
If
true.
there's no winner, there's no game.
I mean, I'm biased just because I like the show, so I kind of want to include it. But yeah, I guess if you go by that, Destroy, Build, Destroy. Do you know that one?
Never heard of it.
Oh. So it was during Cartoon Network's live action phase where they did a whole bunch of live action series.
When Cartoon Network wasn't cartoon?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know what they were thinking, but they had this game show hosted by Andrew WK, and I forget which episode I mentioned him, but he has a music career. I recently found that out, and that was just a bit of nostalgia for me. But Destroy, Build, Destroy there was these two teams of three again, of like kids, teens, like early teens, I would say was like the age range, and they each had like a team of specialized like builders, like construction workers almost, and they were given materials and they had to build a machine to complete a certain task, but they got their materials from destroying something else. So like both teams were given a trailer, they were given a method of how to destroy said trailer, and then they had to use the debris almost to build their machine, compete in the game, and then the winning team got to destroy the losing team's creation.
I would be really good at the first part of that show.
The destroy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I could care less for the machines.
Oh, yeah.
Destroy, that's fun.
That was always my favorite part, seeing how they like chose to destroy them. But it was so interesting. Like, obviously you could expect the builders probably took up most of the work because, they're kids. They don't have that much work experience yet. But, it was just fun to see like the thought process, what they came up with, how it turned out, and how it performed in a practical sense. And since, I guess by your logic, since there is a winner, that one technically is a game show. So
that's all I would think of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably like rule number one. Somebody must win.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess that makes the most sense. Right?
Yeah. No, I would completely agree.
And, yeah. So, me and Kenny are going to speculate how we would do on some of the game shows we just mentioned. And I can tell you right now, I don't have high hopes for myself, especially in the more physical ones. So
same here.
Kenny, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I'm really excited to start looking into the... I'm wondering if I could make it onto these shows. I wonder if I can make it. I think there's going to be one that I could win.
Right, yeah. I would like to think that as well, but I know. Okay, I'm going to start off here. I know for a fact I could not win an episode of Jeopardy. I don't have that much general knowledge.
Agreed.
So that one's out.
We'll just rule that one out.
Off the table immediately. Also, I would totally forget to answer a question like you said, so chances, goodbye.
Yeah.
Wheel of Fortune. I think there's a bit more hope for me.
I think that might be my best chance.
It's essentially Hangman.
It is, and I was always really good at Hangman. And I'm a good speller.
Right.
I can spell. So,
that's definitely one you want. Yeah. I haven't had like this one, like these ones you can obviously play along at home, Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, but I haven't had like too much quote unquote practice with Wheel of Fortune, so I really can't gauge my skill in that one as much as I can in Jeopardy, or lack thereof in Jeopardy. But I still have much higher hopes for Wheel of Fortune than I do Jeopardy, and I'm just going to say this right now: Price is Right is definitely off the table for me.
Yeah.
I have no concept of estimation. I am horrible at estimating prices, distance, time, anything. So
I'm terrible at estimating distances and stuff too.
Yeah.
So if that makes you feel better. The other stuff,
Right. Yeah. I mean that. Yeah. No. All right. So we're quickly whittling down the list of what we're good at.
Half out of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, not 1 for 3, like half out of 3.
Yeah. Pretty much. Whose line is it anyway? I know we said it wasn't a game show, but I think I could definitely. I can't think as quickly as them, but I definitely think I would fare well. Hopefully, like I said, it's hard to say because there's no really game aspect to it. It really just depends on how good you are at improv, and that's something I would like to be better at. So, I'll give myself half a point for whose line.
I think I can do pretty well at that. I like to think I'm pretty witty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I think it would be the you have to think of something quick and under pressure, which is the definition of improv.
Well,
but that's what would get to me. Yeah, exactly. So I'll give myself a quarter of a point instead.
Quarter of a point. I'll take a half a point.
Yeah, you deserve at least half a point. I get nervous quickly over a lot of things. So maybe not. And then this one, which I'm not exactly have high hopes for. Wipeout, American Ninja Warrior, and Hole in the Wall.
Just give me a 0.
Yeah.
There's no point. We can just pretend that never happened. I feel like those are the games I've always wanted to try the most. Because they look like the most fun.
Yeah. I would say, I feel like American Ninja Warrior would be more exhausting out of the 3.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing. It's all about these, like, physically...
You're a ninja.
Exactly. You have to do all these crazy physical obstacles. Whereas Wipeout's just like, don't get hit in the face with a boxing glove and you'll be fine.
Yeah. If I had to pick all of them, I haven't seen Hole in the Wall, but if I had to pick out of all of them, I feel like Wipeout, I'd have the biggest chance, even though it's still, like, no chance.
Right. I think I'm in the same boat. I would much more be the more the funny contestant, the one that just keeps getting knocked over all the time. I'm there for comic relief.
Now, Family Feud.
I feel like I can't think on the same level of people, though.
Family Feud, I think I could do pretty well at that.
True. Well, keep in mind, it also depends on your teammates. So, you always have to consider that. Yeah, I feel like my family would not try... 50% of my family might take it a little more serious than the other 50%. Wait, is there like a set number of people?
5.
5? Oh.
You could aunts, uncles, that kind of stuff.
Family dog?
Yeah, I mean, if it speaks, why not?
Well, considering our family dog doesn't exist, I don't think he can speak. Yeah, we don't have any pets.
I have 5 cats, so yeah.
That's a team on its own.
That is true.
That would be a very interesting episode of Family Feud. Okay, now have you thought about shooting a mock video of that? Family Feud with your cats?
Never. Not once. Never thought about it. Well, we had 4 cats for the longest time, but we got the 5th one about a year ago, so I've only had space to think about it for like a year.
Oh, okay.
A year's a lot of time.
It's something to... Well, considering this last year, yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, a lot of time to think, but no, just never thought of that. But I think you may be onto something.
I'm just saying, it's definitely something to consider. The only thing is, you would need, another team of 5, maybe like a family with 5 dogs.
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah. So you would have to find the contestants, but I definitely think it's something that could be done.
It could be. Okay. Yeah, Steve Pavey.
Oh my gosh. Why?
Boom. Like I said, I think I'm pretty witty.
Brilliant.
That's my
Absolutely
Who Won Is It Anyway
brilliant.
entry right there. That's my, I don't know if to do this, but that's my application video.
I'll make sure to cut this section out and send it to you.
Please do it.
So you can submit it. Oh my. I can't follow anything up after that. I did want to mention one more knowledge-based or like thinking-based game show, but I cannot remember what it is called. It's a more recent one, I believe. What?
Do you know the premise?
Yes. Basically, you sit in this like machine. It's like the thing the astronauts go in that spins you around?
No.
Okay, well then.
I have no clue.
Basically, it's oh my gosh, I cannot remember. It's like this cage thing that fits one person, and there's 4 screens around you, and the machine will just, rotate you to all 4 screens, and each one of the 4 screens has a different base puzzle. So like memory, logic, those kind of things. And while being jostled around in this cage, you have to solve the puzzles. Like, I think there's like 16 of them in like a set amount of time. I would recommend the show, but I don't know what it's called. So if whatever I said made any sort of sense to you, please tell me. Because this is going to keep me up at night now. I need to know what this game was. Dang it. Anyway, I remember watching it with my family, and we did pretty well on some of the puzzles. Like, we were able to solve them. So I think out of all the ones, I think that is the one I would do the best on.
Okay, well, you also got to remember, you're not being shaken around in a cage.
Very true. All right, I'll have my father hold me upside down for my feet next time we watch it.
That could work. That could work.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, maybe I didn't have all the factors in, and I wouldn't do as well given the amount of turbulence. But
Faith in you.
I'll give myself 3/4 of a point for that one.
Yeah, I've got faith in you for that. 3/4 of a point sounds good. I haven't seen the puzzles, so just give me a 0.
Yeah, there's ones like, okay, listen to this audio clip, and it'll be like kind of like a newscast, and it'll be like, oh, how many of the buildings did he say were yellow? And it'd be like, they're all more, they're as multiple choice as they can be. Mm-hmm. So.
No, I would not go, oh, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
I wouldn't do well on that one, but yeah, that's a good one too.
I would do pretty well. I would not become a millionaire.
Oh no. I forget what the point, like the range of points goes to, but I'd say maybe I'd get past 3 or 4, maybe.
Get a good half.
Yeah.
I like my trivia.
Yeah, I like trivia too. I'm just not good at it.
Oh.
Well, I'm good at more specific trivia. So like trivia pertaining to like a very specific thing, like a certain TV show or a certain movie series, something like that. But general knowledge trivia, no.
Okay, see, I'm a wealth of useless information.
All the Wikipedia, right?
Huh?
All the Wikipedia articles?
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Full circle.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely I think what we're not factoring in as well is the pressure on all
Pressure.
those shows to be like, hey, you're sitting in front of a bunch of people. Good luck.
Yep. And it's going to be shown to millions more on TV.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that one would have as much an effect on me. I think it'd be more the people in the immediate vicinity that would freak me out a little more.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely would.
Yeah.
Because it's tangible.
Right, exactly. And, you know, like in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, like lifelines and stuff. You're like, hey, I'm admitting I'm dumb. Can you help me out here?
There's no shame asking for help, Kyle, ever.
I know. I admit I'm dumb on like a regular basis. So if there's money involved, why not?
That's true. I will admit I have one leg if I'm gonna get money. I have two legs, but I'm gonna admit I have one leg if I'm gonna get money.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the worst analogy anybody has ever made. I'm so sorry.
Nah, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, we only mentioned we mentioned a lot of game shows here, but that's just like that barely even scratches the surface.
No.
Like you got to think about ones that we don't hear about all the time, ones that aren't running anymore, and you know some of the crazier ones too are probably or like not crazier but like lesser known ones that like require something else other than like knowledge or physically able to do the things. Unless you know any other game shows that we forgot to mention, I, for one, pretty much have used up all of my knowledge.
Survivor.
Yeah, I wouldn't do good on that one. 0 points there.
See, I think for that one, I could either win the game or I would be the first one out. No in between.
Well, how does, like, voting out isn't point based or anything? Like, it's mainly people's opinions of you, right?
It's no. It's
oh.
So you're all going for $1 million, and
right.
They start from different tribes. So the one tribe, basically, if they see you as a threat to winning the game, everybody's going to vote you out.
Right. Okay.
So if they see that you're a good player, you're going to be gone. Except there are ways to get around that if you are a good player. Sometimes if people just don't like you, or if you're just dead weight, because there are physical aspects to it as well.
Right. Okay. So it starts off as teamwork, and then as it whittles down, it becomes all for themselves.
Yeah, it's teamwork the whole game, but it's not. It's a solo game more than anything.
Right, okay.
It's just they put you on separate tribes to.
Oh, okay.
Because there are so many people, they can't cover everybody.
Oh wow.
But like that's the kind of game like. I feel like I'd be too paranoid about it, but if I wasn't, I would win the game.
Yeah, I don't. I would probably be one of the earlier ones off. I definitely wouldn't fall under the too good category. I know that for a fact.
I've watched a lot of Survivor, so I kind of have a feel of it.
That's good. I mean, all power to you. But I on the spectrum, I definitely fall more toward the dead weight side of it.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times that's in the physical challenges, and even then, the physical challenges aren't always physical. There's like puzzle ones too.
Oh, okay.
They really cover like everything.
Interesting.
It's a very wide-ranging game.
I mean, it's got to make it fair somehow, right?
Exactly.
Well, there you have it. Game shows have to be fair.
That's right. That's the most important thing.
But with that being said, I think it's time we move into our final segment of the show. Based on what we talked about today, could you guess what that might be?
I have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, it would stand to reason that, we would play a game at the end of the show. But since I don't have a game prepared, we're going to go into Royalty Recommends, an old classic. Hello and welcome to the Royalty Recommends, the end segment of the show where me and my guests both recommend one thing to the audience. And as always, the guest goes first.
Okay, can I recommend anything? Like
anything.
Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, I recommend So this doesn't have to be about game shows because that was what the episode was.
Not at all.
Okay.
You have all the power.
I have all the power. Oh, I wasn't prepared for this. I wasn't prepared for this. Okay. I recommend. This is so hard. You go first, please.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm breaking the rules.
No, it's all good. Yeah, I'll give you as much time to think as you need. I will recommend a artist, which, if you tally up all the royalty recommends I've done on music artists and bands, it probably is 90% of the episodes of the show. But once again, it's another musical artist. This one, or band, I should say. This one being Set It Off, more specifically, their album Duality. That's the one I heard. I just recently listened to, and it's one of those albums where it's like I like every song on this. So the first song I heard from the album was "Wolf in Sheep's Clothing" through YouTube. I forget what it was. It was like one of those fan-made videos on like a show I was watching at the time, where they synced up the music to clips from the show, and I'm like, hey, this is a good song. So I did what I normally do and added the entire band's discography to my playlist based off of one song. And oh boy, was that the right decision. Because I haven't listened to everything yet. I'm slowly making my way through it. But from the albums I've listened to, I really like it. And definitely once they put out their albums, they really found their own sound. The two
Slipknot?
No, Set It Off. Did I say Slipknot?
You said Duality, which I think is a Slipknot album.
Oh, yeah, it's a Duality is a Slipknot song, but no.
Oh, yeah, that's the one.
This is an album by Set It Off, but
okay.
The EPs that they have, they're okay, a little generic, but once you get into the albums, cinematics, Duality, they start finding their own sound, and it's really good.
Yeah.
So that's what I recommend.
I've come up with my recommendation.
Let's hear it.
Stick to the theme of games. I'm going to recommend Omori. I don't know if you heard of that. That is a video game.
That's the, I don't know how to describe it, but can you explain? I know what it is, but go ahead.
It's about this kid named Omori. He lives in a dream world, and every time he goes to sleep, it's a tough thing to explain, really. I will just say it like this. It's not my favorite game I've ever played, but it's the best game I've ever played. And I played it recently through a friend. He did the Steam share, the library, so I didn't even have to buy it. It was great.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, that I didn't realize that. I looked it up right now. I didn't realize the game came out only last year. I thought it was one of those.
It was in development for a very long time.
Oh, okay, that was it.
But it is the best game I've ever played.
So what kind of game is it? Like visual novel, adventure? How much control do you have over it is what I'm trying to ask.
I guess you could call it adventure. I think it's technically classified as a horror game, but it's not scary in the slightest.
More like psychological horror almost?
Not even scary that way either. It's not scary at all. My friend and I would both understand why it's called a horror game. But I will say it is extremely sad. But it hits unlike any game I've ever played before.
Games like that are really good. I like those and I think we're seeing a lot more of those, here's the word again, emotionally taxing games. Ones that hit deeper. Games with more of a deeper meaning to them is what I'm trying to get.
Exactly. And that's why it's the best game ever. But except, don't get me wrong, nothing will ever dethrone Master Chief, and Halo is my favorite game.
I've had blah, 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 words. I saw this game a few weeks ago, and I definitely wanted to check it out. So now that you recommend it, I'm almost going to have to. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of, and I hate that I keep admitting this, but I've been playing Doki Doki Literature Club, that game from 2017, 2018, whenever it was, that visual novel.
I don't know what that is.
It's okay, so it's a psychological horror game masked as a dating simulator visual novel. So it starts off generic, like, oh, these are the characters, choose which one you're into, and then everything goes wrong. Yeah, I don't know. It was just a fun game, and I like the concept of it. But it's always fun to play.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we have run out of time. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and not just this episode. I mean this show as a whole. Anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in. Like I said, Kenny, thank you again for coming on. Great to have you back.
What a lot of fun. It's fun just getting to hang out.
Yeah. I think that's what I like the most about this show. It's not too tied to any topic. It's a very casual show. Like, we're just here. We're here to discuss whatever topic is on my mind that week. We've gone from music to video games to
Wikipedia.
Yeah, exactly. And, it was just a fun experience to do. And obviously it's not going to stop, but for radio, it's going to have to take a bit of a break. Anyway, before I keep rambling, have a maximum week. I will see you all sometime in the future. Take care.